clocked in, and I swear there was blood all over in the back of the Mexican restaurant. Like there was like a bloodbath. And like, I gotta start mopping this up. But it like literally looked like someone's throat was sliced. Like there was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I have no alibi. Like,
welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Rated R.
You have some criminal charges, bro. It's like we're avoiding the shark.
Yo, great turbo neck guy.
I'll give you a kiss. You give me your number.
That checked out a ton, dude. Tell me you felt.
We're Americans. We're the ones that are descendants from the 1776 musket-bearing motherfuckers.
Introduction, Ep 6, enough said. All right, so today I have Creed Wiley with me. He is my 300-pound cousin.
300 pounds.
How many pounds are you, Creed?
255, probably 265 right now because we've been eating a lot.
Yeah, okay, and how tall are you?
6 foot flat.
How old are you?
25 years old, quarter
What's
century.
the mustache situation?
Very thin.
Working on it?
Working on it. There's no reason not to, you know.
Okay, and talk to the audience, whoever's listening, about the receding hairline and kind of the process.
Yeah, I started noticing my hairline receding probably when I was about 19 or 20 years old and had like an existential crisis and like a realization that's like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to grow hair forever, knowing like how genetics work and like having my granddad on my mom's side, and so my mom's dad not having that much hair, and knowing that that could be a possibility in my future of not having that full of a head of hair.
But I saw that photo of you with the chain, dude.
The chain?
Yeah, the gold chain around your neck, I think, right? Didn't I?
No, I don't know. A gold chain. I like silver. I like silver.
Silver? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it was a silver chain. I thought I saw a photo of you, full receded hairline with like a gold chain or a silver chain. And
Yeah,
I was like, okay. Because like if you have a chain, you can offset kind of what's wrong in the universe with the hairline. If you're like, you got a chain on, it's like, oh shoot, don't look at my head, look at my chain.
Yeah.
Right?
So I would say about my hairline, though, there was a good 2 to 3 year period where I was Bic bald shaved every day.
That's
if
what
not
I
a
saw,
day or 2 days. So like,
wow.
Yeah, once you make that decision of going full bald, it's really hard to get out of the ugly stage, I call it, which is like 3 days of growing your hair to like 5 days of growing your hair. You can't get out of that stage because of like looking in the mirror, you're like so depressed because your hair's so patchy, and that's like what made you make the decision to go bald. So like it's easier to stay bald.
Is it because your head has never like touched a ray of sunlight before, like certain parts? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, it doesn't grow like grass. I don't believe. It doesn't.
No, I'm
sunlight.
saying like when you freshly decide to go the bald route, you're showing parts of your head that have never been exposed to the light before. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it definitely look like a egg on the top of your head.
That's
like
what,
just egg white or
egg
like
white.
just a cue ball. Like you know.
All right. Well, with that intro, let's get into it.
Yeah,
so, Creed, we're going to be talking about Cowboy to Warrior. We are going to be talking about your testimony. So, you're going to drop a testy on us today.
I'm dropping my testes here today live, going from Cowboy
live,
to
dude.
Warrior.
Cowboy to Warrior, dude. Okay, so I guess we're going to start reflecting on life.
Definitely.
And where we're at in this stage. So, right now in the cosmos. So right now, Creed and I, we are chilling in Washington. Not by the time everyone else hears this, but we're chilling in Washington, family trip. And the weird thing is some of us family, all of our extended family, we haven't seen each other in like 5 years or something. And the crazy part is everybody reuniting and stuff, and we're all adults now. So we are reflecting on life and we're like, oh, shoot, this is actually pretty wild because we're all adults here and we're all making big boy decisions.
Yeah,
dude.
big burly boy decisions.
Big burly 300-pound decisions, dude. What were we saying? We're
talking about just realizing like the similarities of the life stages we're at. We're wanting to jump into responsibility, and like we used to have fun, just childish fun, and like getting a quick laugh was kind of like all that mattered in life, I guess. And
Yeah, and we're kind of leaving a lot of things behind. We're looking back at life and we're like, man, a lot of those things were super fun in the moment. It was super cool. And it would be great to have that again. But at the same time, you're like, no, dude, I'm moving on in my life and I'm at a new life stage. And it would be kind of whack and a total disservice. And you'd be stuck in Cowboy stage if you were trying to go back. And part of the podcast really is about celebrating those past experiences and telling those stories and keeping them alive, because there's a lot of power and there's a lot of beautiful moments and beautiful memories.
Yeah.
And so it's great to keep those alive and cement them into a canon, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
But we got to honor the past by living in the present, and we can't be Uncle Rico's about it, dude. We can't be always wishing to be back in that game, back in 82.
Back in 82, star quarterback soaking it up.
Soaking it up with my soulmate in a hot tub. And he freaking looks off into the wind, and he's just like, oh, and you can tell. That's all he wants in life, dude. He's like, if I could go back to high school,
I would have started that championship game. Coach would have put me in
fourth quarter, dude. So we don't want to go that far. So we don't want to be like that. But yeah, we are reflecting. And so part of that is Cree's going to talk about a bit of his story, dude, because you've had a wild ride.
Yeah, this past year has been a wild ride.
No, but the past 5 years have been wild,
past
dude.
6 years tested my spirituality, and I didn't really know all the dark magic I was messing with on my own end, and I just kind of had a veil over my eyes of like what's real and what's not real, and testing my relationship with Jesus and really just shunning that love, I guess. And
you were a prodigal son, dude.
Yeah, and I would not forgive myself. Sorry. That was disgusting. That should not have happened.
So take us back to how things spiraled out of control.
So to understand who I am as a listener to this, I graduated high school. I was a state champion wrestler, and I had quite a bit of college scholarship offers to small schools in Colorado for football and wrestling. I ultimately chose to go to a small school off of a promise that was, if you come to the school, you're the last puzzle piece to win a national championship on this football team. D2 school.
Really stroking your chain.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, I could not lose. Like, I could not stop. But along the road, I started experiencing a lot of injuries within sports and stuff. And like overtraining was a big problem. And so it was just like this world crumbling in on itself. But to get back on track of like where my story went and stuff, well, I ultimately quit football. And I kind of like...
Well, you kind of were talking about wrestling, so you were doing both?
I off and on wrestled and played football in college, but it was more my priority was football. But like, I made this weird, odd pact with like my friends in high school that I thought I never would follow through with. That I told them that I was like, yeah, I'll smoke marijuana with you guys. I'll smoke pot with you guys when I'm done playing sports. Thinking like I never was going to stop playing sports. Well, I stopped playing sports like 2 years after high school. And like I ultimately
and
like...
they held that over you. They're like, dude, it's time.
They were like, yeah, it's time. Like you can take a break, like time to celebrate. Well, ultimately like marijuana like just took over my life. Like kind of, it's not a phase, Mom. Like kind of like really. And I hate to use like so much. Because not all of this is simile. It's all real life. All this stuff happened.
Yeah, it wasn't like this happened. It did happen. Were you a fan of similes or metaphors? Because I remember
I loved metaphors.
Because metaphors are better than similes.
I like similes.
You like similes. Yeah. So give me some specifics. Like, let's get into some stories, bro. Significant moments where things went downhill.
Well, I stopped playing sports and stuff, and I kind of like started smoking marijuana, and I felt like this ego, this aura like on me. And like when I'm high, people just chase me.
Try to woo you.
Just try to woo me at all times. So I let loose. I didn't care anymore. I didn't care what any opinion was of me. I didn't care about anything.
Just kind of full alpha.
I was all in, full alpha in the moment. Basically, I would say, oh, I'll start selling it. So then it turned into like, oh, I would just have like a gram on me. And then out of nowhere, I just started having like an ounce on me at all times and 2 ounces. And then like it got up to like, you couldn't find me around the college campus without a pound in my backpack.
Oh my gosh.
Or 3 pounds in my car. Like, and so like maybe that's like you could hear a pin drop, but that's where it turned into within like 4 months.
I don't know if people know, but I think a pound of marijuana is huge because the leaves are so light, right? So that would be
it's basically like a gallon size Ziploc baggie.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah.
And I went out of my way to get a med card so that like I could hold it legally. Like I couldn't get in trouble for it.
Oh, really?
You can't like really hold over 2 ounces on you, but I'd always keep 2 ounces underneath my car seat, and then I'd have like 2 pounds, 3 pounds in my car. So like when they'd say you have any marijuana, I'd be like, yeah, here's my 2 ounces. I have it on card. I can have this. And they would never search further.
That's
and there was
actually really smart. You're honest to them, honest air quotes.
Yeah.
And then they believe it.
And I'm not trying to promote this. I'm just saying like I thought it's
method, guys. Pick it up if you
But basically I became the pot king around my college, and like anyone you were buying pot from, I was selling to them. Then I became obsessed with like greed and like having money.
Pot of greed, dude.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. No, I don't.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe
it's epic.
So this like marijuana changed my psyche. Like I needed it to live. I couldn't walk 100 yards without smoking a joint. You know, like
psychological addiction.
Psychological addiction. Basically, it came around though to like I did this for maybe like a full year, and then like came down to this thought process. Okay, maybe I should slow down. Like I have no control over my emotions. Like I would just blow up on people. And it's crazy because like when people smoke weed, they're like, oh, I'm so much more chiller. I'm so much this. I became just like an absolute animal. Like I just, and like, honestly, I felt that way. Like all primal instinct at all times. Like I had no
chill.
Like I just felt like I am the man. I'm the beast. This is my cave. This is my domain. Like pissing on everything like a stray dog. Not really, but really.
Yeah, dude.
People loved that attitude. I didn't care, but then they realized like that button didn't turn off. Like I was just an a-hole at all times.
Shots fired.
Just
give me some reckless behavior, because people want to hear this kind of stuff.
I would.
This is the Spencer Whiteout podcast, after all.
You know, I can just cut to the chase and say like there was a situation that happened at a party, and I probably had more than like 10 to 20 shots, and I had like 3 tall boys, like, you know, like 3 32 ounce cans of beer. I blacked out. I was belligerent. I was like pulling girls' hair, and like my girlfriend at the time, she told me I needed to calm down, and like she was really, really ticking me off, and I told her like multiple times to like leave me alone, get away from me, like, and I was telling her a lot of things that like she would never be better than my like first girlfriend, and like I had a lot of problems like with this stuff, and like I ultimately like pushed her, and I pushed this girl, and then like I went back into her room being chased by like this mob of people. And so I tried to get out, and I like took off from this party, and then I got cold cocked.
What is cold cocked?
I got jumped. Like I got hit by someone that was like standing behind a corner.
Oh,
and
shoot.
Like hit me without me knowing, and just punched me from just a blind spot. And then I got dragged out by like 10 people and just got beaten up for about 30 minutes and like tried to fight the whole time. And I'm not proud. Like I'm not just bragging like, oh, I fought 10 guys.
You got your ass kicked.
I got my ass kicked, but I wouldn't stop fighting because I like was so drunk. But like people just wouldn't stop beating me the F up. And that just changed where I was going in life. I ultimately moved to Colorado Springs, and I broke up with my girlfriend, and I was a mess of a man. Lived in Colorado Springs for about 6 months, but then I needed to go back to college. I needed to finish what I started, but I was still such a broken piece of a man. Like I was just in pieces, had no clue who I was, had no identity. And there's a book, Fathered by God, that I've been reading lately, and it's been helping to explain those times in my life. And there's stages like boyhood, cowboy, warrior. And we're realizing that like as we're growing, as we're maturing, that you have to eventually jump into that warrior stage. And I feel like when I like achieved all this success in athletics and stuff, and I was so driven that I like jumped into warrior too quickly, and I never finished my cowboy stage. I never experienced like just popping off, having fun, just doing stuff, but like needed time to explore and be a cowboy.
So you reverted.
So I reverted
in an unhealthy
way into like figuring out how to close the door on this cowboy stage.
And what is the cowboy stage for people listening?
Cowboy stage, like just a time to like explore. I wouldn't say Peter Pan, but that's what happens if you don't come out of like boyhood or cowboy stage. You just be like a kid forever. Cowboy stage is like, you want to explore, you want to experiment, you want to try things and then fail. You want to have these chances to grow as an individual and find who you are. And then once you know who you are and have a better understanding within yourself, a definition, then you can jump into warrior and start carving out that situation in life and knowing who you are.
Putting your stakes in what land you're going to plant in.
Growing your territory. So it's supposed to happen at these times. You're supposed to be enjoying your cowboy ages, let's say 14 to maybe 20. And so you should have those stages finished up by the time you're out of high school.
And that's just the problem. That's everybody these days, dude. People don't want to grow up. People don't want to accept responsibility, dude. They just want to have fun forever.
Mm-hmm. I went through this like stage of a summer where I was like working really hard and I was just smoking pot all the time, drinking alcohol on the job all the time. It changed my life, like calling it a gateway or something. Like I wanted more. I was chasing a dragon, right? So this time I took 2 tabs of LSD, but the tabs were already double tabbed. So ultimately I did 4 tabs of LSD.
Tell me you remember that night.
I remember that night.
Okay, what happened?
Well, I was like drinking alcohol and it just looked like the ocean of stars at all times.
The alcohol? Looking down the bottle?
Like looking down the bottle. It looked like poison. Like it looked like,
oh my gosh,
like stuff you would see in movies. Like, and you would just be like, oh my gosh, like this stuff is killing me. Oh my God, it looks like stars. So I remember we were at a bar.
Did you drive over?
No, I walked over. But the crazy part about it is like the whole time I was walking in a bar, it felt like I had like a police escort. Maybe the cops were just chasing me, but not in reality. Like, no, it just they like blocked off one section.
Funny.
They might have blocked off a section.
I've got
of
a
the
police
town.
escort. No, actually, they're just chasing you.
So I went to the bar and like to explain it, like I remember clear as day someone asking me, dude, what's it like? Dude, you know, I've never done that. What's it like? And I was like, I'm over there right now in that corner of the building, floating around freely. But I can see this conversation and I can see me looking at you. I don't really see you through my eyes right now. And like, I'm like actually having fun over there. And
that's how it felt, dude?
That's how it felt. This night, I was only about 8 hours into a 36-hour trip. Non-stop.
And you stay up.
You stay up.
You can't go to sleep.
You can't go to sleep. And what basically happened next is I had to be at work at 9 a.m. And honestly, I clocked in and I swear there was blood all over in the back of the Mexican restaurant. Like there was like a bloodbath in there. And I got in there and like, I got to start mopping this up. But it like literally looked like someone's throat was sliced. Oh my God. There was blood everywhere. And then like, I'm tripping still hard. 12 hours in, maybe 16 at this point. My boss came in and just started yelling at me in Spanish. Clean it up. What are you doing? What happened here? And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Somebody just got murdered here.
Someone got murdered here. And it's just crazy, dude. Crazy things happening in my life at this point. You know, really bad things. I still struggle with all this stuff. I still think back to these days.
But not current struggling. You're just saying mentally.
I don't struggle with the chemical dependencies.
You're just saying you struggle with it in your mind, like making sense of all of it in the past.
And I want to say like there's this part in my mind that feels like it's missing now. Like I feel like my knowledge and my IQ is like slightly lower.
Oh,
and
really?
Like,
that makes sense.
We'll be having like a conversation or something, and I feel like I lose train of thought really quick. So yeah, I ultimately got through work.
But was it blood or not?
I was on LSD. I don't know.
So he was saying, clean it up. What were you supposed to clean up? Because obviously he saw something. Maybe this night, actually, there was a murder.
Yeah.
And you had to clean it up and you were just tripping on LSD. And you're like, oh, I just thought it was LSD. When in reality, there was somebody that got murdered at that day and you never said a word about it because you just thought it was from LSD. And it was like the greatest coincidence of your life.
Oh, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Because like, what if there was a murder? You don't even know.
I don't even know. No. And who would take my alibi?
No, nobody.
I'm on 4 tabs of acid.
Yeah.
Like, I have no alibi. Like, I don't know.
Imagine that, dude.
I do remember though that I like left my partner day shift hanging and was like, I can't work. I gotta go home. I left and I like went home and like was still just tripping. I tried to take a nap. Crazy thing. I like had this experience that like I was on my phone and stuff and I was looking and I thought like I was being watched or something. I thought any second an FBI agent would like walk through my door and be like, we need a hair sample. So then I shaved myself completely bald. No arm hair.
What?
No leg hair. No butt hair. No head hair. Like any part of hair on my body, razored bald. Because I was nervous that someone was going to take my hair and sample it for LSD. I did that.
People don't even do that, do they?
I don't know, but that's what I did. I was like, I was like 18th hour or like 20th hour of staying up.
You shaved
tripping.
everything.
And
that was the start of your baldness.
No, that was 2 years
earlier.
before, yeah.
But
I could not calm down.
Sorry, we gotta talk more about this hair thing.
Oh, it was weird.
That's really weird.
It was weird. I'm telling you, don't do this stuff. I touched the stove, got burnt, and I'm asking everyone else, don't touch the stove. You know what I mean? And honestly, like, it really fizzled my brain.
You're just on another world.
Yeah, and I like told my roommate at the time that I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to come back from this. I really don't think I can come back from this. He kind of like sat me down on it. It was like, you just have to go forward. You can't go back. This wasn't, to tell you guys also, this wasn't the last time I did LSD either.
Dude, do you have another story about LSD?
I also did Adderall all the time. Just because I would like need to get a homework done that might take 2 days, and I'd get it done in like 2 hours, and then I'd play video games the rest of the night and just like pwn kids online on Call of Duty, just like cracked out of my mind on Adderall. Like my mind was just getting tested at all times by like chemicals and like things I should not have been doing, but like because it's promoted in this culture that it's like, do what you want, experiment, figure it out.
Cowboy forever, baby.
Cowboy forever, baby. That's literally like how the culture is. It's not, hey, there might be a responsibility. You might need to check on the horses. It's like, no, put your guns in there and start popping off and see who shoots back, shoot them, you know, like. Oh my. But this is probably the third or fourth or fifth time taking LSD, but this is the last time I've ever taken LSD. At this time, I had become like really good at bartering drugs. I sold enough to enough people that like I had 3 free tabs. And so I was like, you know, I just want to try it. I don't want to go crazy like I did last time. I know the dangers now. Stupid logic. Rationale. And so I did like 1 tab one more time, and it was honestly like a crazy experience. I did so much art and painted so much, and like it turns like a 12-hour period into like 3 days, the way you're like processing things and seeing things. And like I remember there was a point in this LSD trip I had drinking like maybe 3 bottles of gin that I was like, you know, this alcohol ain't doing enough for me.
Oh my god.
And I didn't do it, but I like looked, I believe I even poured the glass of like paint thinner.
Wouldn't that kill you?
It would kill me on spot. And I like looked at it and was like, this looks like it might do the job. This looks good. This looks tasty. And I did not, but like,
that's the grace of God, dude.
That's the grace of God, you know, give it up to the God right there. But where I am today, I don't want to experience an LSD trip. I really wish I never had touched LSD. So I lost so many friends.
Except for your fam.
Except my mom and dad. Literally, because of this, I had to like re-harvest my relationship with my brother. And like, we love each other now. It's crazy. He like trusts me and all this. But I had already like put in my plans that I'm going to move back home. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to figure out who I am again. And I moved back into my parents' house, and like my family is very Christian. My mom like basically performed an exorcism on me.
Cause didn't you like have some like voices going on and stuff?
I allowed any demon presence into my life. I willingly did, like straight up.
So get more specific with that.
Willingly trying to sell my soul to the devil.
Wow.
Because I got to this point so far that like I didn't love God anymore. I didn't know who Jesus Christ was. I started like dealing with the science of the Moors and like wanting to willingly like participate in Buddhism rituals, in closing the door, locking it, researching stuff, and like, what should I say? I willingly invited demons into my life. The music I was consuming. Willingly.
Yeah, a lot of Limp Bizkit.
No, actually maybe some Limp Bizkit. But to explain like the demonic presence like leaving my life, I remember my mom like just grabbing me by the temples, and she would not stop praying. This is the best way I can help you, and I don't know how else to do this for you, but I feel like God is telling me I need to pray for you, and we need to pray this out of you. And you can't like fight this. I'm not going to allow you to fight this. And she's not the type of person to like speak in tongues and like riddle off crazy noises and stuff just to like be like, I know how to pray better than you. Like she was just like loved me so much that she needed this gone. Like she knew this is how she could handle it. It went from first she was praying powerfully and had my hand, and I was like screaming, stop, stop, stop. From the next thing I know, I'm on my back. And she has my head pinned against the floor, like praying like crazy, saying, you know, get out of him, get out of him, get out of him. And like my mind, I'm like, I don't understand what's really going on right now. Why is this happening? Like yelling at my mom to stop. Like this hurts. She's like, I have to keep going through this. We have to get this out of you. And I'm like literally crawling through the house, like on my back, like just twisting and turning.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just so painful.
You were just like convulsing,
literally. And then eventually like we ended up in my room, like on the floor of my room. And this was still going on. And like, I started to like pray with her and I started to accept it, right? Like, I don't know how to explain that fully, but out of nowhere, this like presence on my belly, like other earthly feeling happened where it just like left. The best I can explain it is like, I had the worst belly cramp in the world. And then all of a sudden it was alleviated. This presence left me.
It's like Alien, the chest burster.
That's what I was going to say
really
before you said it. That's really painful.
Yeah.
But this pain left out of nowhere. Did that just happen? Holy cow, what? And I was like, Mom, I got to get up. I get it now. I understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Mom, I think you got it out of me. I think it's gone. It's gone. Right? And then like in these experiences, like, Jesus, I accept you as my Lord and Savior again. The very next day, like literally I told my mom what I needed to do. Mom, I need to do this and I need to share to everyone that Jesus Christ is the Lord, like he is God. But over these next days, I remember God speaking to me. You need to get back to your art. That voice spoke to me. And he spoke to me in a way that was like, I know you better than anyone else. I've seen everything you've done. You need to stop with the music. It's okay. You know, you fulfilled that and you need to start working on your art. And I'm like, art, last time I did art was tripping on LSD, throwing paint at a wall, right? Spray painting in my apartment, huffing paint and like thinking about drinking paint thinner.
Yeah.
And so like getting back to like, I was a wrestler in high school, thinking like, okay, wrestling's a martial art. And I kind of came to this thing that was like, for those who don't know, my grandmother was an artist and she painted, you know, and I was like, okay, she painted on canvas. I was like, what is fighting done on like boxing? What is boxing done on canvas? And so I came down to this idea that I was like, okay, my art from now on is boxing.
Martial arts.
And then I went to sleep again the very next night. And that same voice that knows who I am spoke to me. It's not me like conjuring up my own inner thought. We all know
because it sounds different when it comes through your head.
Yeah, it's not inner thought.
Outer thought.
It's outer thought, like going through you. And it was like, just spoke to me that was like, you can fight again. And I'm getting like goosebumps. I'm getting all like, kind of like, whew. I can fight again.
I see that, dude. I see the goosebumps on your 300-pound arm, dude.
I can fight again? You're telling me I can fight again? You're telling me, someone that just got beat up 3 years ago and someone that stopped fighting for my life, stopped fighting to get up anymore, stopped fighting for happiness. You told me I can fight again? Then he put it in there that was like, if. And he didn't say anything after if. And I woke up from that like, if I share my testimony. If I do this only for God, I don't know if I ever will step into a ring, but I will fight.
Yeah. So what I love about this is I love the metaphor of boxing being your art on the canvas. I love that this is really more than just fighting physically. I love that this is really more about the metaphor of fighting spiritually and trying to reclaim what was lost. And so I think that whether you ever step in a ring physically might not matter, because what's really going on under the surface, it's about you fighting to reclaim your life spiritually.
Yeah, definitely. And every aspect of life is an arena for war.
Warrior baby.
Leaving
Mic
Cowboy. Leaving Cowboy and becoming warrior.
Dude, Creed, you have entered warrior status.
Yeah.
Fighting for the man you want to become.
Yeah, fighting for the man I want to become.
That's what leaving Cowboy is, and entering warrior.
Yeah.
When you walk with God,
right,
you are able to fight for every inch.
It is that. Every instance that you go through, it is a battle, and you know it's possible to win that battle.
You can win any battle when you're walking with God.
Exactly.
That's it, dude.
Awesome. That was fun.
Outro Dutch. So I want to mention that reviews really help grow the podcast, and I'd appreciate if you could take 30 seconds to drop one. You know, I'd love to hear your feedback, what you love about the podcast, what I can do better, or what your favorite story so far has been.
Thank you for your patronage.
Inserting Exclusive audio recording from the vault.
I've never really gotten this far before, so I don't really know what to do. Do you think you can help me? I don't know what to do. No, I'm just messing around. Hey, I just given you a call. Wanted to say hi. Still don't know what to do. Not really good at this talking thing when I get nervous around people like you. So pretty. Such a cool kid. All right. Love you, cousin. Bye.
And that's it.